Welcome to Countdown and Kickoff. Like we said, biggest game of the year. Baylor is visiting Oklahoma State. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ben Nicholas. I think one of the big things, you're talking about defense being out there, is I think they look a little bit rattled. I think they don't know necessarily what's going on. They're just trying to stick to one thing. Oklahoma State, I know we're 14th right now. I know we're upset. I know we're angry. But, you look at it, we got TCU to play. We have Baylor to play. We have OU to play. And, if you think we beat all those teams, the polls will take care of themselves. But this year, so far at least, the Cowboys are 14th. And we're 12th. And we're 14th again. I'm taking Georgia. It's a little bit of a shocker, a little bit of a underdog in some opinions, but they have three solid running backs. Defense, all teams have them, especially the Big 12 teams, and I don't think we get enough credit for it. It's not just the SEC teams, it's not the Pac-12 teams. Big 12 has them too, especially Oklahoma State. Now, TCU's offense has been struggling a little bit. Obviously, injuries has held them back a lot, but Trayvon Boykin is probable. I think he's going to play against Baylor. This is a big rivalry game, and Baylor's banged up as well. And so I think TCU plays OU. They get close. They come within a point of beating them. And they see that they can win games even when hurt. And I think that fires them up. I think they come into this rivalry game and take it to Baylor. Well, behind me here in the Sherman E. Smith is where they did the agility work for Pro Day. As you know, it was raining that day, so the outdoor in Boone Pickens Stadium was moved here inside. Now at 10 o'clock, they did start a little bit earlier when the scouts got here, and so they went ahead and did their weight room exercises in there, and then about 11 o'clock they came out here.
As college comes to an end for seniors, most prepare their resumes to find a job. For 8 seniors and 1 special junior, their resumes were handed in at Oklahoma State's Pro Day. Pro Day is a campus-held event where NFL scouts come to observe campus's football prospects. Football players who are eligible for the draft, those 3 years removed from high school, are allowed to participate in their campus's Pro Day. For those who went to the NFL Combine, it's just another chance to build up their draft stock. For those unable to attend, this could be the only chance to impress teams and landing a career in the NFL. Pro Day is broken up into 2 parts, strength in the weight room and a speed and agility portion outside in the field. Starting in the weight room, athletes participated in several different exercises. Wide receiver Brandon Shepard participated in 2 of these exercises, the vertical jump, where he reached 31.5 on this attempt, and the long jump. Ryan Simmons, a redshirt senior, had 25 reps in the bench press, which could have put him at 3rd in the NFL Combine. The athletes and scouts then moved into the Sherman E. Smith Training Center due to the rain. These drills started with the 40-meter dash and then the 20-yard shuffle. Wide receiver David Glidden ran a 4.52 40 and then a 4.3 20-yard shuffle. But all eyes were on superstar junior Emmanuel Ogbah. Ogbah did not participate in all events at Pro Day. He chose to use the marks and times that he did at the Combine last February. Ogbah did participate in position drills with the NFL scouts. Starting with some bag drills, Ogbah was able to show his quick feet and explosiveness before moving on to the hoop drill. Ogbah ran through several cone drills and finished his Pro Day with coverage drills.
Like dropping in space, I've never done that before. I just have to get better at that. Some teams will need me as a linebacker, outside linebacker, so I just have to get better at that.
For most, all there is to do now is to wait until draft day. The NFL draft starts April 28th. For the Poke Report, I'm Ben Nicholas.
Form-based code is a proposition that the City of Stillwater has been discussing since 2012. This code deals with zoning and architecture within the city. This code could potentially allow residents to build on their land more freely and create better pedestrian environment for Stillwater, if approved. The form-based code proposal is spelled out here in this 80-page document found on the City of Stillwater's website. Oklahoma State University surrounding buildings and businesses could be affected, like University Heights Baptist Church. The code has 3 different layers to it. The areas immediately surrounding Oklahoma State, in red, are the areas that will be most developed. The code doesn't force current businesses, residents, or owners to change their properties. The code does, however, allow owners to add to their property. The proposal has several different supporters, like Nigel Jones, the university architect at Oklahoma State. Jones says the code could improve the life of students and residents around campus.
About this at all. It's just providing I use the word framework, that if somebody wants to develop there, and even if they're developing a single lot, this gives them the opportunity to develop it in a way that would fit in.
Form-based code would be a big change to Stillwater, but some residents have concerns with the proposal. John Bugg is the pastor at University Heights Baptist Church and a supporter of the form-based code. However, Bugg says there are a few drawbacks to the form-based code.
It would be good and bad. The bad is we would have to be a lot more careful, and the design team for whatever we chose to build would have to make sure that it looks the way that the form-based code says it should look. So there's some complexity there. The other thing that would be a disadvantage is you got to park. And in this particular form-based code, all the parking is in the third tier or right next to the alley.
The code is still a proposal and has not been approved yet. However, Jones says the form-based code has already made its way into Stillwater. Jones says that some of the apartment complexes have started to take the shape of a form-based code, which in turn is creating density in the area. The City of Stillwater will hold their next Planning Commission meeting on Tuesday, the 21st.
If things are needed improvements, if the water lines are not sufficient, they'll have to redo the water lines 100% their cost.
Joining me now is Matt Berry from ESPN. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you take a lot of time out of your busy day.
No problem.
So a lot of people might not know this. I know this. You used to work in Dallas, and so you've been kind of moving around. You're now in Bristol. Like, what is that transition like?
Well, you know, when you work at a place like Dallas, you're in a top 5 market, and you're covering the Dallas Cowboys, and you're covering big-time high school football and the Mavericks. When I was in Dallas, the Mavericks won the NBA championship. The Rangers went to back-to-back World Series, and so you get accustomed to covering big-time sports. And then when you make the transition to network TV in a place like ESPN, when you work in a market like Dallas and you're covering Super Bowls and NBA Finals and World Series, it really gets you acclimated to what it's like to do big-time sports and big-market TV. So it was a good experience for me, not only to be in Dallas and get around franchises like that, but it got me ready for the next step, which was ESPN.
So when you finally get to ESPN, you finally get to Bristol, what is that like? Is it kind of a little starstruck?
It's daunting. It's campus. It's like a college. And it's huge. I spent the first 2 weeks just trying to figure out where to go to the bathroom. Like, where are the bathrooms? Where's the cafeteria? Where's this? Where do I throw my garbage? The first couple of weeks, you're just learning how to live at ESPN. And then you're walking around the hallways, and you're seeing Jerry Rice, and you never know who's going to be around the corner, and Ray Lewis, and all these people you grow up watching on TV. And so it's human nature to be a little awestruck. And then you understand, well, you know what? You're them now. You're with them now. That's your job. And so once you get over the first couple of weeks of acclimating, and I got there at the end of winter, and I'm from Arizona, so the winters are awful. Once I got used to just being in the building, it's TV. It's the same camera, the light's still red, the teleprompter's still there, the TV's still there, so it's just TV again.
Okay, so you're now at ESPN, obviously a much bigger field, and so you're actually on the road, coming here to Stillwater. What is your impression of Stillwater so far?
Well, I love Stillwater. I worked in Oklahoma. My first TV job was down in Lawton, Oklahoma. I saw Les build this thing up to where it was when he had Rashawn Woods, guys like that played football here. Tatum Bell was on the teams when I was here. So I saw kind of the birth of where this place was headed. And then when he went to LSU, I was here when he left for LSU and Coach Gundy got hired, and so really saw this program take that next step to national relevance. And if you look at this program, they're looking for their third 9-0 start in school history. They were that way in 2011. They're at that point again this year. And so just to see how this program has been built and to get into the national conversation when you're looking at a program like OU just down the road that's one of the best programs in history. So it's very impressive how Oklahoma State's been able to do that.
Last question, we'll let you get back to your work. What do you think, just predictions for the rest of football season?
The schedule's backloaded. And what you see today as we sit here is going to be completely different than what you see in the final week of the season. Keep this in mind. I've been pointing this out all week on ESPN. Ohio State opened up ranked 16th last year in the first college football playoff. They didn't crack the top 4 till the final 1. So what you see today and what you see now means nothing. All I can predict is chaos, and it's going to be a fun ride.
So there's definitely hope for Oklahoma State fans.
Look, beat TCU, and you're in the thick of it. Win Bedlam, and you're really in the thick of it.
All right. Thank you so much.
You bet.
I don't take any more of your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Take care.